This is Sybert signing into Small Town USA in Kane's Wrath, and we have got the finals to kick off here from the Kane's Wrath 1.02 Plus tournament, and it is going to be MasterLeaf as the Pink Traveler 59 against BikeRush as the Red Black Hand, which, I mean, you know, no big surprise there that he's playing Black Hand. The real question is he going to all-in rush everyone all over again? But we will have to see. MasterLeaf looks like he's going for nothing too crazy just off the bat. It looks like it is going to be a refinery being thrown down, so no fast. Yep, he sold off the portal, so it's definitely not going to be fast disintegrators. Sometimes he does like to go for that 4 or 5 fast disintegrators. I would not that I would recommend it on this map with so many garrisons. It's fairly easy to go ahead and lock down the garrisons, although fortunately for MasterLeaf, he was actually able to grab at least the one garrison that's close to BikeRush. Of course, if you can grab the garrisons closest to your opponent, absolutely do it. And of course, if you can grab the ones in the south and in the north, that will give you huge amounts of map vision and kind of allow you to lock down areas, depending on what units you have in here. We've got the War Factories going down, following it up with, of course, going to be the Shielded Harvesters. Did I say he was Reaper 17? I think I did. I'm not exactly sure, as MasterLeaf typically does play Traveler 59. This particular match, he is going to be playing that Reaper 17, so it's a little bit of a difference. We've actually been seeing MasterLeaf play a number of different factions. We'll have to see if he can take any games off of BikeRush, who's kind of heralded as being the one guy who can take any tournament in Kane's Wrath, or, well, in Kane's Wrath or Tiberium Wars. Not so much Red Alert 3. Following up with a second refinery, so far pretty standard open. We're going to have to see, is it going to be a nerve center follow-up for MasterLeaf? No, it's going to be an additional power plant probably before the nerve center. Yeah, he's not going to be looking for an expanded just yet. BikeRushOwnz, what is he actually going to be doing himself? He's got the Cabal squad out, which will scout the Gunwalker, and he did have a Raider buggy running somewhere around the map. It has now made its way all the way, and he is going to be seeing a pretty standard MasterLeaf going for that 4 and 2 so far, most likely going to be adding on that 5th Harvester. So both of these players are opening pretty standard, which means that despite what we would normally expect... Wow, I could not speak right there. Despite what you may expect from these players who have a bit of a reputation for being a bit cheesy, neither one of them is going for any sort of super cheese play. BikeRush going to be just controlling pretty well with that. And I say that he loses the squad. He was controlling pretty well with that Cabal squad as MasterLeaf does like to go ahead and pair up a disintegrator, well, not a disintegrator, rather, he likes to pair up some buzzer squads with his units and then see if he can, although this Devour tank might actually get a couple of bike kills there, so no real harassment from BikeRush as it gets locked down completely. But as I was saying, MasterLeaf likes to pair buzzer squads with his units so that it insta-kills infantry, and then on top of that allows you to clear buildings pretty easily. However, this flame tank will be spotted extremely early by MasterLeaf. He hasn't turned his Devourer around, which the Devourer with the Corruptor healing it could take care of that flame tank pretty easily. Do we have an additional flame tank going to be popping out? No, he did solve the Operation Center after going for the Tech Lab, and now those Tier 4 1-clicks. The Tier 3 is down, which means Mechapedes are out on the field for MasterLeaf, and this is the point where this game is going to heat up insanely hot. And the Obelisk is down, but it's down-powered, and there goes one shot on the Devourer tanks. Barely it does survive. BikeRushOwnz hasn't actually set up his expansion. He did get the flame tank all the way. MasterLeaf, what are you actually doing? How did he not spot this at all? Then there comes in the Mechabede, going to be taking down one of the refineries. Both refineries are down. Making use of that one click, he did go ahead and sell off that Tiberium chemical plant, and the Devourer is still up to that full health. He does have a Black Hand squad going to be clearing out pretty much all of those buzzer squads. There goes down the flame tank. It wasn't able to quite get the warp sphere, but now there's no refineries for MasterLeaf. Does he even have enough money? He's got a refinery building, but I don't know if he'll have enough to really finish it off in time. He can't exactly move his drone ship and try to set one up back on his main field, so he'll have to transfer every single one of those harvesters. Meanwhile, on the front of BikeRush's base, he's got the Redeemer Engineering Facility, and the Assault is still being put on. The Mechapede's able to cap down one of those, but BikeRush not able to really focus fire properly with his Obelisk. only taking down one segment there and losing a harvester. Not a good exchange for BikeRush. Overall, I would say that BikeRush is in the lead just because he's been constantly having income for the past couple of minutes, but MasterLeaf has certainly done more damage in the power hand, of course. Then the downside of the Mechapedes is their ability to just be one-shot like that. BikeRush getting a good shot off there, able to take down one. However, was he actually able to completely eliminate the Devour tank? Yes, I do think he was. He's been constantly harvesting, but once he's trying to harvest this stuff that's a little bit further out, he's having a lot of trouble. A bike and a buggy going to be doing some pretty minimal damage to this expansion, especially with the Devour tank swinging on down from the north and going to be able to clean up that bike, which actually the buzzers might actually, yeah, they did take out the bike before he even got to it. A testament to how little armor those bikes actually do have. BikeRush definitely up against the ropes here as he pulls his last harvester from the front line. He is definitely in a lot of trouble. He's moving out with his Redeemer. If this attack fails, he could very well be out of game number one. MasterLeaf could simply just take game number one in a pretty solid standard play, although he has almost no build radius here at his main base. His tech is still alive, and really, BikeRush hasn't harassed at all almost this entire game. His early harass got locked down pretty hard in the beginning, and is he going to one-click once again onto that one refinery with about 4 or 5 harvesters jacked up around it? One Corruptor does actually survive there, and he's going to be loading up with 2 and a 3rd Disintegrator Squad, which is, of course, the best way to maximize your damage output on the Redeemer, and it's actually going to be taking a tremendous amount of damage. He wants to get vision of that refinery, and there is going to be the Tiberium Bane detonation and doing a huge amount of damage to those harvesters. Might be able to take down a couple of them. BikeRush is just going for the kill on the eco. He doesn't actually care about the units at this point. If he can take down the refinery, that would be actually better than going for all of those units, and that is it. BikeRush has been defeated. He was just like, oh, well, I am out of luck. I am out of time. Game number one goes to MasterLeaf in a kind of surprising victory. MasterLeaf played that out very well. He was defensive, and fortunately for him, BikeRush, if BikeRush would have all-in rushed, or just all-in or rushed, one of the two, then he probably would have ended up winning that game. But MasterLeaf playing pretty defensive, and with the timings that BikeRush hit with that 2 bike at like the 2 or 3 minute mark, where he already had a dev tank, and that dev tank was already leeching some of that Tiberium for the extra damage output, basically able to one-shot those bikes, and he was like, well, there goes your harassment. You don't get any real scouting information, although at that point he was like, oh, he's got tier 2 up, he's not going super crazy eco or anything like that. So BikeRush had a pretty good handle on the situation in terms of information, but he just didn't have any units to deal with it, and the flame tank did quite a bit of damage, which really did help him stay in that game a little bit longer. In the end, it ended up not working out for him, but we'll see in game number 2, can he actually make this one come back, or will MasterLeaf take this best of 5 series in a 3-0 sweep? Game number 2 is coming right up, which is on Tournament Dust Bowl, and we have got BikeRushOwnz once again as the red-black hand in the north, and his opponent as the yellow scrin in the south is MasterLeaf. So MasterLeaf taking a quick game number 1, about 7 minutes there. He's throwing down the portal, and is he actually going to be going for one of these spikes? Because as far as I know, neither one of these players are playing random, which means he knows he's going up against the power of the black hand. He is going to be going for one of the spikes. Is he going for a stasis chamber as well? No, it looks like it is going to be a refinery. Sometimes if they decide to go for one of the spikes, they'll just get the stasis, or they'll get the advanced articulators to try and go for a push behind it. No, but no, he's just going for so many buzzer squads there. He's got a total of 6 moving out and a 7th one being added on as well. As you can see, he's just stopping his engineer there a little bit just to make sure that it doesn't get too far ahead. He wants to make sure that he's got plenty of room so that if he needs to, he can have time to stealth that before the Cabal squads get to it. The first refineries are down for both of these players, and it looks like it is going to be the War Factory follow-up for BikeRushOwnz. And this map, I mean, snipes down the engineer. A nice kill there for a BikeRush. He was actually able to take down all of those buzzer squads. So good focus firing. He grabs one spike. Will be grabbing the second one as well. He had a second engineer somewhere. It is lagging a little bit behind, so it's going to take a moment to get there as the first buggy squad moves out. Buggy itself moves out. A squad of buggies. Oh, man, if units just spawned out in squads. Oh... No, okay, that is going to be a power plant. BikeRush is looking to add on a second harvester and then sell his MCV for an all-in rush. There's the MCV sell. Is he actually going to be sending? Sometimes what he'll do is he can send the engineer around the sides of the map and then go to try and cap a building, possibly even at the expansion. of your opponent. But here comes the first bikes, and this sort of a rush hits right around the 2 to 3 minute mark, about the 2.5 minute mark. The Raider buggy going to be absorbing a couple of shots, and once again, it is going to be that relatively fast tech. It's actually going to be tech before second refinery, so a much quicker tech than last game. We'll have to see, can MasterLeaf hold this off? Does he know that it's even going to be coming? Because that buggy scout doesn't actually reveal that, oh yes, this is going to be an all-in rush. However, with the excellent denial of scouting that BikeRush had early on, oh, and actually he's not sending in his bikes right away. He's got 7 collected, and an 8th one being added on as well, and he's going to be mixing in more and more bikes. Where's that second harvester, actually? It's actually quite odd that he doesn't have a second harvester there. Sending in a couple of Cabal squads just to see exactly what is going on, but MasterLeaf probably is just planning on like, hey, you know what? This is probably going to be an all-in rush of some sort, so I should probably prepare for it, but BikeRushOwnz is actually doing a really good job of hiding his bikes. He hasn't revealed the ridiculous amount of bikes that would say, yes, I definitely am going all in with this. Although MasterLeaf, he might have spotted it at some other point with a buzzer squad. There's that second harvester, who I think he was just leeching from over here for whatever reason. It might have actually been a little bit of a bad rally point. He's got the perfect angle, though. The Cabal squad's going to be distracting these units, and this is exactly what MasterLeaf may need to hold off this buggy rush. And now, as you can see, BikeRush is having a hard time actually staying on top of his Tiberium harvesting, getting a little bit unfortunate timing there, where ordinarily with 2 harvesters and 1 refinery, you would be able to harvest at pretty much maximum efficiency the entire time. He's going to be having a little bit of trouble there, having a little bit of stacking of harvesters. BikeRush trying to find a good angle to engage at. He could probably swing in the south here and take down the nerve center before he loses too many bikes. We'll have to see if he does that. He's got about 9 in total, and this game could actually turn out to be an interesting match where BikeRush doesn't simply win with an all-in rush. You need so many bikes to actually be able to take down a Devour Tank, even more so when it's being constantly healed. He trades 2, 3, a third bike does go down, maybe even a couple of more. He lost 5 bikes in total for 1 Devour Tank, and still no harvesters have gone down. What is MasterLeaf going to be adding on after this is really going to be important, because this is the point where BikeRush is like, all right, you've held off my initial bike rush, so this is the point where he adds on his 3rd harvester, and then he starts looking at, when do I take my MCV back? When do I start rebuilding that MCV? Which is going to take 5 grand, but if BikeRush can keep on the pressure, and he can really just keep MasterLeaf contained and keep his economy to a minimum. You do not want your opponent to get their economy up. If you want to keep their economy about where yours is, hopefully a little bit behind. Like right now, if he rushes in with the bikes, he may be able to get a kill or 2. However, the Devour Tank is going to be here. He might be able to get the Corruptor with the bikes, focusing down with the bikes. He goes for the Dev Tank after the Corruptor does go down. He snipes it down, and now the army of MasterLeaf has been weakened. The Harvesters might be forced off of the line. There is the fast tech, but it's powered down, which means the Mechapedes may be delayed as well. The Dev Tanks have gone down. The Corruptor is going to be getting focused as well. The Harvesters, are they actually going to be focused down? BikeRush, it looks like he may be able to overcome here. Oh, the snipe on the Mechapede does happen before any segments are able to be built, and the Harvesters are now going to be going down to get told. There is the sell-off. MasterLeaf has been defeated. Passive game, and then suddenly just launched into action and didn't start until MasterLeaf left the game, evening the score up 1-1. BikeRush's patented, almost patented at this point, all in that he loves to do, especially on that map, just ended up not working out quite as he liked. He was ahead in economy the entire time, which is kind of surprising. I thought with, I think MasterLeaf had this 3rd harvester a little bit sooner. I thought MasterLeaf would have been a little bit closer, but either which way, there wasn't a whole lot of Tiberium harvested in this game. And in 6 minutes, BikeRush evens up this score. So we've got like, what, 2 6-minute matches in this best of 5. So we're going to go on to game number 3. We are guaranteed 4 games in this series. If one of these players just wins these next 2 games outright, then we'll see a 3-1 sweep. But we could be going on to an ace match. These 2 players playing very evenly, especially game number 1, where neither one of them really cheesed. It was just kind of fast tech, not even really all that fast tech from MasterLeaf, but we're going to see which one of these players is going to take game number 3, which is on tournament decision, and once again, MasterLeaf is going to be pink, this time playing as Traveler 59, which I don't remember if I mentioned it last game, but he was playing Scrin. I think I forgot that, actually, but is going to be his opponent, BikeRushOwnz, playing as the red-black hand. Pretty standard there. So MasterLeaf actually playing his favorite faction, Traveler 59, unlike last game, where he was just straight-up playing Scrin. I know I mentioned advanced articulators, which makes, I think it was like MasterLeaf playing, and so I just assumed he was Traveler 59. He was not. He was actually playing Scrin, which, of course, you'll be able to tell from the starboards at the top. But now, are we going to be seeing any sort of a rush from MasterLeaf? It could be. He hasn't sold off. No, he is going to be. Yep, he sells off his portal right there. So yeah, no Disintegrator rush just yet from MasterLeaf. BikeRush has got his 2 engineers out on the way, as does MasterLeaf. And you, of course, always want to, although he might be going for the tower. Oh, this could be very dangerous. He is going to be going for the closer tower. It does not get sniped there. Nearly gets sniped. However, the Cabal squads do get taken out, and these other Cabal squads are busy shooting that building instead of trying to go for the engineer, which means that engineer will provide a little bit of protection for MasterLeaf from bikes and buggies, as those towers can pretty much snipe down a bike. I believe they can snipe down a bike in 1 shot and a buggy in like 2 shots. He forgets about the harvester, about the engineer there. Although he will get the cap before the... Oh, that Cabal squad was really close. So MasterLeaf almost losing an engineer, but he doesn't quite lose it. And this tower, as... BikeRush definitely knows about it now, as he'll be knowing there, and then he'll be knowing about it there, and then he'll have to swing around either on the far left side or in the far south. One of those ways to go ahead and try to get bikes and buggies into MasterLeaf's base. But once again, it's an MCV cell, somewhat of an all-in. It's not completely an all-in, but it has been spotted by the Buzzer Squad. So already MasterLeaf knows exactly what is coming. He's likely going to be going for either Seeker Tanks or where's the Nerve Center? He hasn't actually added on the Nerve Center. He's going to be trying to hold this with Seeker Tanks and maybe even a couple of Gunwalkers as well. It's very good that he grabbed this defensive tower. However, BikeRush knows that it's there, and he's actually going to be swinging around the north side, heading over to the far west pathway to try to take all of that stuff through safely so that he doesn't run past this tower in the middle. He wants to make sure that he's always going to be heading around to the left side. It's Seeker Tanks to hold the line. MasterLeaf, can he hold the line with just Seekers? I think he's going to be going for the Nerve Center to try and get some Dev Tanks up. That would probably be the best choice. However, the buggy is going to be heading in. He sees that there's no Seeker, or there's no Nerve Center for the Dev Tanks. There's only Seekers on the defense. So BikeRushOwnz could be doing a lot of damage here. He has added on a 3rd harvester already, so he really wants to make sure that he's always having that Tiberium income, especially with how much Tiberium you start with on decision. You can harvest that field for quite a while with only 3 harvesters. Oh, he rebuilt his MCV already. That was a huge mistake selling it off then. He definitely didn't actually get his money's worth out of it unless... Oh, BikeRush. Oh, the mind games. He sold his MCV, and then he either decided that because MasterLeaf saw it, he was like, no, I'm gonna hold off the pressure and get myself an extra refinery and then probably expand quickly. Yeah, so he's going for basically the closest thing to like a tech switch that you can even get. He built up a couple of bikes here and caused MasterLeaf to go hardcore on the defense, and he didn't even get the Nerve Center. So actually, if BikeRush is able to survive in the next 2 to 3 minutes, he'll be in a tremendous position because his economy will be so much better than MasterLeaf's. This is a great mind game by BikeRushOwnz, and actually, this game is turning out to be a pretty interesting one, even if we go into a boring... And even if it has like a huge boring part in the middle, this will just be an interesting opener by BikeRush. I would be kind of interested to know if this was his plan from the beginning, or if he was like going to go all in and then he was thinking, oh, well, actually, maybe I shouldn't since MasterLeaf spotted it so early. But MasterLeaf just now throwing down that tech still doesn't have a 2nd refinery because he thinks that BikeRush is going for the all-in rush. So now BikeRush, all he has to do is he has to just survive this Seeker Tank push. But MasterLeaf is so scared about moving out because he thinks there's probably about a dozen bikes out on the field, if not more, and Scorpion Tanks. Oh, this is actually pretty crazy from BikeRush, but the Gunwalker is here, and he's seen at this moment, he's like, oh my gosh, BikeRush actually has 2 refineries up. He sold off one of the war factories, and he's got tech. BikeRush might just be going for a little bit of fast tech, maybe for a quick redeemer, but there is the technology assembler, which means mechapeds are now on the way, but off of 1 refinery mechapeds, and already spending so much money on Seeker Tanks, I think MasterLeaf is going to be looking to end the game in about 1 push. He's just going to gather his forces with what little economy he has, and what few mechapeds he can build, and see if he can simply end the game. BikeRush still does have 6 bikes, which is certainly a potent number. A couple of buggies mixed in as well. However, a couple of them could get sniped down here. He has 1, 2, 3 could go down very easily. A third one very close to death. However, the bikes might actually be getting some kills in. One Mechapede, I think, went down, although that may have just been a segment, as pretty much all of the bikes have not quite been eliminated. About half the bikes have been eliminated. The big push from MasterLeaf is swinging in. Where are the rest of the Seeker tanks? They might have already been eliminated, but we've got Black Hand squads on the front line going to be able to deal additional damage. Plus, the charged particle beams is already up. MasterLeaf has been defeated. BikeRush with the almost tech switch there, as it wasn't technically a tech switch, but able to mind game MasterLeaf a little bit, and MasterLeaf's economy was just so far behind in comparison to BikeRush. Yeah, they were equal, and then suddenly BikeRush was like, well, I'll just rebuild a bunch of stuff, and just in, how long was that? 6 minutes. 6 minutes, he was 15,000 credits ahead almost. So in just the last minute or so, he put such a huge difference. And just, if you imagine, if you just extrapolate this out about another 10 minutes, if you make this a 15 to 20 minute game, how far BikeRush would have been ahead in the economy. And everybody knows that when BikeRush is just powering it, he just shift clicks a million Scorpion tanks, and then it's like, what do? He's got crazy economy, and you've spent all of this stuff on Seeker tanks, which, spoiler alert, Seeker tanks actually not that good once you get past Tier 1. BikeRush in a great game number 3, taking a point over MasterLeaf. One more game to win it for BikeRush. MasterLeaf can punch back and take this to an ace match. We'll have to see in game number 4, which is on Tournament Rift, and MasterLeaf is once again going to be playing as Reaper 17. No Traveler 59 for him, and BikeRushOwnz is going to be the red-black hand. So this map is, I would have ordinarily thought that this would for sure be the map for Traveler 59 out of MasterLeaf, but no, he's actually chosen to play Reaper 17, so I guess he's going to be going for a possible very strong ground army. Interestingly enough, BikeRush doesn't want to secure the southern spikes, so I guess he's expecting a ton of buzzers from MasterLeaf, which actually, MasterLeaf is only going for about 4 or 5 in total, so actually, it's just going to be a hope of an engineer snipe for BikeRushOwnz. He's got the angle that's pretty good. He might actually be able to grab one of these engineers and take it down. The refineries are out, and as soon as BikeRush gets eyes on that harvester, he will know for sure, just on the off chance, which I don't think MasterLeaf is playing random, but on the off chance that he is. And there go down one Cabal squad at least. No, actually, he wasn't actually able to finish off that first Cabal squad, only finishing off about half of a Cabal squad, which means this engineer will likely go down. 500 credits down the drain for MasterLeaf. However, we have the War Factory placement, and it's actually facing the opposite direction, which tends to lead to a little more aggressive play, although not necessarily. We could be seeing just harvesters out of there. They do have a nice little path to go ahead and swing around and get that Tiberium, but ordinarily you do see them place the other way just to get the harvesters onto that Tiberium as quickly as possible, and there is going to be that engineer. Will he actually get the snipe? Oh, so close. He does not. 500 credits to MasterLeaf as he adds on that third harvester, that second refinery, and this is absolutely going to be seen by BikeRushOwnz. And the next thing that comes out of the War Factory will be telling BikeRush exactly what is going down. Where is the Buzzer Hive? There's no Buzzer Hive being added on, so it's not going to be super crazy eco, but now there's nothing building from that Warp Sphere, which means no more harvesters, and BikeRushOwnz is going for a very early expand, adding on just now his third harvester, and he's already got that 2 refineries. Oh, almost. Oh, okay. I thought he was sending it off to the blue tib for a second there. I was like, wow, that is very, very early blue tib. Not even really worth it at that point. Wait, what actually just happened? I thought I saw something disappear there. Another Cabal squad going to be coming up here, and BikeRushOwnz has got the full scout off on his opponent. Worked away the shields on one of the harvesters, just going to make that a little bit easier for Bikes to take her down if he does indeed decide to go for that. And that's quite a far placement of that MCV. I thought maybe he was a little bit worried. He could just be going for a little bit of base creep, but no, he's going for a second War Factory. Is another power plant being added on? Yes, maybe. No, he's actually going to be going for a Hand of Nod. Is he just going to be going for an MCV cell for the win? There's the nerve center. It's been spotted by BikeRush, so he knows dev tanks are a definite possibility. MasterLeaf hasn't quite added on his 5th harvester just yet. Nope, there's the fast tech. And BikeRush, did he actually spot this? We'll have to see. Yep, he did. The death. When your units die, they still have such a vision, so he's actually going to be spotting not only the tech and the fast Mechapedes, or relatively so, the Mechapedes before expansion, but he's also going to be spotting that expansion, which if he can get bikes, turn the bikes around, might as well turn them around and see if you can sneak some shots in on that drone ship while it's still in the air. The MCV, I do believe, did get sold off, but he's got the hand of Nod, which means he's got the opportunity to go for lots and lots of infantry, although without the secret shrine, he won't have the Black Disciples upgrade, and then of course that just doesn't make your infantry quite as powerful. The Lightning Spike and the Mechapedes will make this defense point pretty darn strong for MasterLeaf, and you have to keep in mind he's going to be thinking about this game, and he's going to be like, alright, I have one chance, and if Bike Rush wins this game, I'm out of the tournament. It's single elimination. There's no more games. So either I take this now or I get eliminated. One Mechapede doesn't quite get taken out. A couple of the segments go down there, but it's not too much damage done to MasterLeaf by BikeRushOwnz. And as far as MasterLeaf is concerned, I don't think he knows that the MCV was sold off. However, he should be figuring something is happening with how many bikes, although for him, he could be thinking it was an early expansion, and now that is about to be kicking in. He's got the stasis chamber down. Is he going to be going for some sort of heroic unit play with some not corruptor, rather going for the commando units? One Mechapede has been eliminated, a second one could go down, but he's trading so many bikes and buggies, which they're relatively cheap in comparison to a fully loaded Mechapede, but at the same time, bikes are going to be swinging in, a couple of buggies mixed in just to help deal with that any extra damage output. However, there's one Mechapede back at home, which means these bikes will be absolutely shredded. No real damage has been done to the economy of MasterLeaf, and since Bike Rush doesn't actually have an expansion up and running, MasterLeaf just needs to do some economic damage. However, there's so many bikes here, they're not able to do quite the amount of damage that they would like to be able to do to these Mechapedes. They should be able to get the shots off in this round. However, no, they're not able to do anything, and with the swinging around of these units, there's extra shots being shot off by those Mechapedes. MasterLeaf just now establishing his expansion, which is considerably before BikeRushOwnz. So many bikes and buggies going down, thousands of dollars worth of units, and there's still 3 Mechapedes to be dealt with. I think one may have been eliminated. However, all 3 of the bikes go down. They fire off literally 1 rocket between the 3 of them, which is not a good ratio. 1 rocket for 3 bikes. However, those engineers successfully captured the Southern Tiberium spikes a couple of minutes ago, and MasterLeaf is likely going to be looking to add on an additional refinery in the south. Might actually be producing an extra harvester to go ahead and transfer on down there. But continuing to power with tons of bikes and buggies, no MCV is being rebuilt just yet. We still just have this 4-and-2 ratio, which is a pretty good ratio for saturation, but it is going to be a little bit of a man-spam transition. No, I guess 2 units doesn't quite count as a man-spam. However, the southern swing for BikeRushOwnz, is he going to be able to swing by the Mechapedes and just completely escape their wrath and do huge amounts of economic damage? We have 3 and possibly a 4th and then a 5th disintegrator squads being added on straight out of that portal, and MasterLeaf has got eyes on these units. He knows that something is up down here, although he might just be going for the spikes. He definitely knows that the army is here now. He's going to be getting a ton of damage. There's 4, 5, and maybe even 6 bikes just went down right there for the price of 1, maybe 2 Mechapedes. A 3rd one will go down. 3 goes down right there. He traded that with so many Mechapedes, though. Or throw so many bikes and buggies. An additional attack on the north side is not going to be very potent, as I think most of the harvesters have already transitioned down here, but there's so many disintegrator squads, they should be able to eat up these buggies relatively well. They need to go ahead and focus down the weakened ones first, if at all possible. 3 do go down right there, and the other 2 will pull back, as well as the bikes, and Bike Rush is simply not engaging very effectively. There's the warp chasm being thrown down, and the epic unit will be produced, and that is what happened to his build queue, as he had to build an MCV out of one of his war factories, completely halting production for like, what, 50 seconds or a minute? And I'm not actually sure. Maybe it's a minute and a half. I'm trying to remember versus the time it takes in Red Alert 3 for an MCV to be built, which is, I mean, the ratios are pretty different. 3, I believe there was like 3 or 4 bikes and a buggy went down there. The stasis chamber being rebuilt once again. We could be seeing just shock troopers inside of that Mechapede, inside of the Eradicator hexapod for that damage output. which is just a nice mix. But against Black Hand, you almost just want to go for the Disintegrators for the extra damage. He's going to be going for the Tech Assembler, but he might actually be able to get it down before the Warp Chasm spawns out that Eradicator Hexpod, because that should cancel the Eradicator Hexpod. He doesn't have EMP coils, which unfortunately for BikeRush means he can't go ahead and EMP that Tech Assembler. He cancels the Mechapede, the Warp, not the Mechapede, the Eradicator Hexpod actually, as the Storm Column does go down to protect this unit. And with how many bikes and buggies he's actually lost, I don't even know how effective that was in taking out, how cost-effective that was in eliminating that technology assembler, as the Mechapedes trash the main base of BikeRushOwnz, and BikeRushOwnz is certainly up against the ropes, as with a well-established natural expansion here, and just starting out that spam of lots and lots of Gunwalkers, which I guess now they're going to be Shardwalkers, since he is that Reaper 17. He could actually get some of those upgrades for his units. I believe, doesn't Reaper 17 have attenuated force fields? Yeah, attenuated force fields. And then, of course, blue shard launchers, at least I think it is. Yeah, blue shards. It's hard to keep track of all of the darn screen sub-factions. But a couple of more bikes getting eaten up, and 2 more will definitely be claimed by MasterLeaf. He did take out 1. Oh, actually, that was a good trade for BikeRushOwnz. Surprisingly, trading those 4 bikes for 1 fully loaded Mechapede isn't too bad of a price tag on that. He's got the single Ravager. The only time people build Ravagers is when they lose their technology assembler, pretty much. However, BikeRushOwnz, does he actually have any units? He's had to focus on rebuilding his economy since it got completely smashed in the north. He doesn't even have a single harvester there. Has he been going for the blue? No, nobody's even been long-distance harvesting this blue, so MasterLeaf is actually going to be looking to be in a really good position, especially if he moves. Yep, that's exactly right, but BikeRush has been defeated just at that moment, as all of those Gunwalkers were about to be closing in on his base, and MasterLeaf was going to be going for that blue tib, which would have put him so far ahead in terms of economy. And that's really what it came down to, is BikeRush was not able to engage efficiently. And that's kind of fine if you're ahead in economy, but BikeRush was on par in economy, and then suddenly MasterLeaf actually got an expansion up, and it just climbed ahead for MasterLeaf. Going to be taking us forward to an ace match, so BikeRushOwnz being given a lot of contention here by MasterLeaf, so we'll have to see what happens in game number 5, as this best-of-5 series has effectively been knocked down to a best-of-1. It all comes down to one final chance for both of these players to take this tournament, but let's go into that match, which is on Pipeline Problems, and it features as the red-black hand, we do have BikeRushOwnz, and as the pink Reaper 17, we once again do have MasterLeaf. So both of these players with a completely even score, which is kind of crazy that neither one of these players has been playing super cheesy. Because, I mean, if there's 2 players known for their cheesy, aggressive play, it is going to be MasterLeaf, and it is going to be BikeRushOwnz. Pretty much as far as at the higher levels of play. Lots of not quite as good players are known for being super cheesy. However, on this particular map, we'll have to see which one decides to go for that, of course, delicious blue Tiberium, which is automatically preloaded. And we have seen MasterLeaf, we have seen him do this in other matches on Pipeline Problems, because everybody goes for that blue tip. So if you can hit that blue tip quick enough and you can establish a strong enough economy outside of that, then you can actually end up overcoming the game. But we'll have to see. Some of that does depend on getting a ton of basically area of effect damage down. Whoa, what is this out of BikeRushOwnz going for actually the War Factory before second refinery? Is he actually going to be adding on a second refinery over here, or is he just going to add on an extra couple of harvesters? I mean, I would assume he would throw down at least one more refinery, but a lot of players, they do enjoy just adding on way too many refineries, particularly in, of course, in Tiberium Wars, just straight up when it's so cheap to get those refineries and the harvesters. But a little bit slower in Kane's Wrath, so you don't do that quite as much. You don't throw down like the crane into a triple or even quadruple refinery. Oh, actually, BikeRush going to be going for bikes, not even more harvesters. And where? Oh, he's going for an MCV cell. So just as I say, when you throw 2 of the cheesiest players in Kane's Wrath in a game, in a best-of-5 series together, and they don't actually cheese every single game, and then BikeRush cheeses game number 5 with an MCV cell, I think it will be spotted by the Gunwalker. He should be knowing relatively soon that something is going to be going down. And oh, MasterLeaf may actually be wishing that he would have gone for maybe even tech before the second refiner instead of tech after the second refiner, which is what I believe he did. However, he doesn't have any dev tanks up, so it's irrelevant if he got the tech before second refinery. That's an extremely late dev tank, and one harvester will get smashed down for sure. It is completely full of Tiberium. He was not able to refine basically any of that. A second one may get smashed down as well. It's a secret tank out. There's not even a single dev tank. He's got the nerve center for basically no reason as a second refinery harvester goes down. There's the sell-off. MasterLeaf is actually out of this game. Whoa, that was fast. Oh, BikeRushOwnz putting that blue Tiberium to work for him in an MCV cell, and that is such an effective build on this map because of that blue Tiberium. MasterLeaf, unfortunately, will be taking second place in, under 3 minutes. Gah, 3-minute match. Alright, so that will do it for this series. Not a whole lot of cheese until that last game. I think there was only like 2 really cheesy games from BikeRushOwnz, and mostly standard play out of MasterLeaf. So it's like you throw those 2 players into a game up against someone who's known for standard play and they cheese, and then you throw them up against another player who's known for cheese and they play standard. What in the world is going on? BikeRushOwnz takes that series regardless if you like MCV cells or not. BikeRushOwnz does take this tournament, and of course that just continues his ridiculous streak of winning basically every tournament that goes on for Tiberium Wars and Kane's Wrath. But overall, a much better best-of-5 series than I expected to see, especially given recent track records with tournaments. But overall, some interesting games played, and some not-so-interesting games. I mean, nobody is perfect, so we can't expect brilliant games every single time. But overall, I think we can all say that that was a better, happier finals than some previous series and tournaments has been. But that will do it for game number 5. And the finals, congratulations to BikeRush. MasterLeaf, of course, played very well as well. And, of course, third place went to Tiberian Future, and fourth to Green Zeros. Big shout out to all of the Kane's Wrath staff, and of course, if you're not a part of GameReplays.org, these are the fine folks who put these tournaments on, and of course, the June Ladder Wars should be coming up for both Tiberium Wars, Kane's Wrath, and Red Alert 3 in the next couple of weeks, so be looking for that, and in the meantime, this is Sybert, signing out.